Yeah, DJ Diddle on the ones and twos.
Oh shit, Diddle. I'd be DJ Bean Flicker.
DJ DJ BF for sure. How are you? It's been like a rough couple of weeks. Apparently.
Yeah, I'm good. Just a little tired. I just drove back from San Diego. It was like 9 hours.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! Wait, wait, you said 9 hours?
Yeah.
Jesus. Nope, not today, Satan. Not any day. Oh God.
I'm flying again because they keep like delaying my flights home when I fly because of all the smoke and stuff.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So,
Is it dying down over there?
I don't know. Hopefully,
Yeah.
it's less smoky. I can actually see blue in the sky finally.
That's it. The fact that like I feel like here in New York we take that for granted, you know, like that we're seeing blue skies and you guys are just not right now.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really crazy. Okay, so I'm sniffling because of my allergies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't I you know, I don't have
Not
any.
fingers or anything there hanging around.
No. So anyway, you and I met. How did we meet? We met through Kelly, right?
Yeah, Kelly.
Okay. Now, do you know her personally?
We're just friends. We met on TikTok and we've been friends since.
Okay.
She's in Tennessee. I'm in California.
Okay. All right. Yeah, likely story. Yeah, I literally have met so many people from TikTok. And
Yeah.
now you're okay, so she connected me to you.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I was looking for guests on the podcast and she told me about you and your story. I feel like I was like, holy shit, I got to talk to her.
Yeah, it's wild.
And then you and I connected. We got each other's numbers. You sent me about 1,000 voice notes telling me your story.
Huh?
And then I was like, yeah, you're gonna have to tell that all over again on the podcast. So do you want to start? Do you want to tell your story?
Do you want me to tell the burn survivor story and the
Yeah.
suicide story, or you want me to just tell the suicide story?
Whichever one you feel most comfortable with. I mean, okay, so to preface, you are a burn survivor.
Mm-hmm.
You were in the hospital for a while, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost. Yeah.
How long?
Almost a month.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But on TikTok, I mean, on TikTok you have what, like 30,000 followers, like plus?
No, 22.
All right, you're almost there. And you do a lot of, or you try to do a lot of suicide prevention when you're not being fucking shadow banned.
Yeah, I try, but take it all, like they'll start taking it down or they'll remove them without me even knowing it, and I'll wake up and they're gone because
And
they say it's promoting it.
right, it's promoting exactly.
Yeah.
And you and I have a lot to talk about regarding that because of the video that was circulating that wasn't fucking taken down. But I guess we'll get to that. So I guess, I mean, it's Suicide Prevention Month.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to have you on this month because of that.
Yeah.
But if you want, you know what, you could start with the burn story and then just, you know, take it to, you know, your brother and everything like that.
Okay. Well, in 2007, I decided with my cousin to start a bonfire using our high octane racing gas for our dirt bikes.
Jesus Christ.
And yeah, that's red flag. So I was holding the bottle, and it was a big tequila bottle from Costco, and we had been drinking all night. And so once the bottle was empty, I was holding it while he was pouring the gas into it. So I had the gas all over my hands because, you know, the diameter of a bottle is not very big.
Right.
And so I also got it all over my clothes. And when you start these bonfires, well, when we did with him, we would set up the bonfire and then pour the gasoline, like a trail of it from where the bonfire is, and then put the bottle on top.
Okay.
And then you light the bonfire like from whatever 10 feet away, and then it just kind of rips up to where the bonfire is, and then it starts catching fire. And then the more that the gasoline and mixture starts heating up, then it shoots flames. Like if you've ever seen a hot air balloon, when they have the flames to inflate the hot air balloons, that's what it looks like.
Yes, yes.
So later in the evening, I wasn't really thinking about what was going on because I was having fun. And I saw him roll through the flames, and they were really tiny. They were only like maybe 2 or 3 inches off the ground. And then he rolled through it, and then he dusted it off, and it looked super cool. And I was like, I'm totally in. And I'm like, I'm going to do that. And I remember my ex-wife, the last thing I hear is her scream, Lisa, no. And I rolled through it, and because I had so much gasoline on me, I just caught on fire from my waist up. So then I rolled.
Wait, now here's my question, and this is what I meant to ask you. Was this before everything that happened with your brother or after?
Yeah, it was before.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were you
So it was 2007. Yeah, I was drinking.
Okay. All right. Just okay. Continue.
I'm used for examples whenever I do like speaking engagements for fire departments. So whenever they do their fire safety, like the fire marshals, they will have me come speak to like younger kids and teenagers and stuff.
Yeah.
Because the story is so awful, but at the same time, I can show them like, hey, messing with fire, not a good idea.
Don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so I rolled and it got bigger because, we're taught stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah.
But I didn't take into account that obviously I had gasoline all over me with a mixture of oil. So once it burn itself out, it doesn't want to just like go out. So I rolled, got bigger, ran, got even bigger. And then someone pulled my clothes off of me, but my neck and my hand just stayed on fire because of that mixture of the gasoline and oil, until someone just ran up and just jumped on me and like stomped, patted my hand out, because we didn't have any water around when we were doing this bonfire. Another bad thing.
You didn't have what? Oh, water.
Yeah, usually like if we did a bonfire, we always had a bucket of water around, but we didn't that night.
Okay.
And so then I was working in healthcare at the time, and I knew that my airway was compromised. So I was trying to stay calm, but I was also in a lot of shock. And so my hand was completely degloved, and I didn't realize how badly my neck was burned. I mean, I knew I felt like it was hard to breathe, but I didn't realize that my skin on my neck was also like gone. So in the house, and my cousin his wife was trying to put a towel on my hand, which is like a really bad idea, because when you don't have skin, it's just going to stick to it. So then eventually the fire department got there, and then they were taking me to a trauma center to stabilize me. And then I don't remember a lot about that ride.
I was just about to ask you that.
Yeah. I just remember once I got to the, was waking up a little bit, and they were telling me they were taking me to a burn unit, and they told me they were taking me to St. Francis Hospital in San Francisco. And it's the same hospital we lost my uncle in from AIDS in 91. And I was like, no, my family's going to freak out,
Right.
they're about to lose another person there. Because when I asked them, like, am I going to live? Of course, they're not going to tell you. They always say, well, we're doing everything we can.
Right.
I even get that question a lot, and I'm like, we're going to do everything we can, because we can't promise anything.
Now, are you a paramedic?
No, I'm an anesthesia tech. So I assist.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you know all about this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, but I had no idea what was going to be like in a burn unit, because then it was debriding and baths all day. And in the baths, they put bleach in it, because you're at such high risk for infection. So
does that hurt? That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, no amount of medication that can touch like debriding and yeah, dressing changes. It was pretty bad.
What's debriding?
Well, they trim your skin and scrub it and stuff, because they have to get the stuff off that's dead, because you don't want it to be necrotic, and so then you're getting an infection from it. So I have to keep like trimming away and make sure it's clean and stuff.
Okay.
While I was in there, I did have visitors that were from a burn organization, which I'm now part of. So I'm really blessed to be able to be a part of that organization. And then I, eventually, once I was discharged, I was going through physical therapy. And when I got put back into my own healthcare system, they their physical therapist didn't have burn patient real experience, which was really frustrating because when you're wearing Job's garments and stuff and you're like bleeding through and trying to move your, whatever you're trying to get reuse of again, it's really emotional and it's
Right.
taxing, like it's not just an injury, it's an emotional injury as well,
It's mental. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So funny thing is that my nephew would come over all the time to spend time with me because I had to have like family members there to help take care of me because I was still at the point, not that my nephew was changing my dressings or bathing me or anything, but he was still there, because my sister and my grandma, they would all come over.
Okay.
And so he was playing Guitar Hero. And like
Yes.
once they stopped going to physical therapy because I just felt like I was going nowhere with it, I started playing Guitar Hero with him, and that's how I got used to my hand again.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Guitar. So you stopped going. See, you didn't tell me that. You
Yeah.
stopped going to physical therapy and started playing Guitar Hero?
Yeah, and that's how I got the use of my hand back.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What
Crazy.
was your favorite song to play?
I don't even remember now.
Oh, you have no idea.
It's been like 13 years.
All right. We'll just say it was Freebird because Freebird was really
Freebird is dope.
right.
So that was 2007.
Okay.
So I had PTSD from that, but I don't think I really I know for myself, I wouldn't let myself think about the incident because it's so traumatic. Like
you
it's
kind of
really
like blocked it out.
Yeah, I would just block it out as best I could. But then in 2011, when my brother committed suicide, it's like those two traumas just merged into one beautiful beast,
Right. I can't.
Not
What were you gonna
not
say?
beautiful, more like, a nightmare, but I'm just saying beautiful though.
Right. No, I get it.
Yeah.
Like a tremendous fucking beast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like basically to this day, people, even when I see a therapist, I know they're ready to see me as this statistic. And I'm like, I'm not going to be one of those statistics. I'm going to keep fighting through this,
Did you, I'm sure you did. And I didn't ask you this because I wrote down a bunch of questions. Well, for the record, just out of curiosity, what degree burns did you get?
I had 3rd degree on my hand and neck, and then my face was 2nd and 1st.
Wow. Okay. I figured somewhere you had 3rd degree
Yeah.
burns. That
graphs and stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't. Now from all of this, did you become like even before your brother committed suicide? Were you suicidal yourself, or I mean, I'm sure you were depressed, but did you have
Yeah, I did have an attempt on my own beforehand.
Oh, I
In
didn't
fact,
know that.
the crazy thing that's happened is that looking back, he actually gave me so much shit, like not in a good way. When I did do it, he was so mad at me. He was angry, told me how disappointed he was in me and stuff. Like he wouldn't even look at me for like a week straight, and it hurt so bad. And I'm like wanting someone to love me and embrace me, and he's my hero, and here he is like being like, you're basically a disgrace, so like fast forward to his death, it's like even to this day sometimes I'm still shocked by it.
Like how the fuck did that even, how did it come full
Yeah,
circle?
exactly. Yeah.
All right, so okay, so now I guess you can go into what happened with him.
Okay, so him and I started getting close again around Thanksgiving in 2010 because it was really hard because he was in the military for a while and then he was in school all in Texas. And so I'm in California. It was hard to like get back and forth to each other. But then after Thanksgiving, we started getting close again where we were texting like every day, checking in on each other. And in January, I just like, I don't know, I just had this really weird feeling. I text him one day and I say like, how are you? What's going on? He's like, I'm just having a really bad day. And I'm thinking not much of it because he's very stoic guy.
Right. Is that you think that's from the military probably?
Yeah, and also he had the worst upbringing out of all of us kids. He had it the hardest.
Okay.
So I think that had something to do with it. And then also maybe as a teacher, because he was a high school chemistry teacher, maybe like he just has that professional side. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. So then I let a few days go by and I text him again. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, you haven't texted me back because I want to make sure he's okay. It just, something was off, but I never, ever would have thought it would go down.
Together.
Yeah. And he said, no, I'm just having a bad day. Jenny and I, his wife, we're getting a divorce, and I was like, okay, like, come stay with me if you want to, like, I have plenty of room. He's like, well, I'm trying to figure things out, but maybe I will at some point. I'm really worried about my daughters and it's going to be really hard on them. And I was like, but you guys will figure it out. It'll be all right.
And they were
And
young, his daughters, right?
they were 5 and one was just turning 7.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I'm like, I'm thinking that he's going to be fine because he's the toughest guy I know on the planet. And, so like the next day I'm at work and I was actually working in the ER and I was helping with a psych patient who was like super out of control. So I couldn't like check my phone or see my messages or anything. I didn't have time. I literally went into my shift and this person was just getting wild and out of control and violent. So I was trying to help with that situation. And then when I finally walked away, I checked my phone and I had like, I don't even know how many text messages, and I'm thinking, what the hell? Like, this doesn't feel right. And then I opened one and it's from my sister and she's saying, Lisa, call me, it's Danny. And like, my heart sunk, but I didn't quite know. Like, I just had this really bad feeling and I thought maybe it was a car accident or something, like I had no idea that
you still were like not even going there.
No way. No way, man.
Okay.
And then literally as I'm reading this text message, it's like making me shake right now, even thinking about it.
I can hear it.
Yeah. I get this phone call at work, which nobody calls me at work because I work in healthcare and everybody always knows like you're hands on with patients. You don't have time.
You're inundated.
Yeah. And my sister's like, it's Danny. He took his life. And I just hit my knees and I'm like bawling. And one of the doctors that worked there, he like comes over. He was dictating and he stopped what he was doing. And he came over and like swooped me up, gave me a hug and took me to a private room. And like he overheard everything. So I'm guessing he knew, like, obviously. And I'm in this room and I had a lot of friends that were, that I worked with. And at the time, my ex-wife was working there too. And they went and got her and they took me to this room and I just kept trying to call him because this could not be real. Like, this cannot be really happening,
Right.
So falling and then trying to call him. And they just took my phone away and they're like, you need to calm down. Cause I was like hyperventilating. Like, this can't be real. It was like someone reached in my soul and just ripped a piece of it out, like.
And at this point you said, well, I don't know obviously what happened in the past, but you said you guys were starting to get close again, or you were really close. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was just unbelievable, and
I can't even imagine.
So then I go home and then we're like I'm having to book my flight to Texas because we need to get there. I need to get there with my sisters as soon as possible to figure out what the hell's going on and be there for his wife and the kids and each other. So we fly out to Texas and it was insane. Like, he always had guns because he was military and we grew up shooting on my uncle's ranch. He worked at a shooting range in high school to save money for college. And, like, your mind gets the best of you and you start having like morbid curiosity, and I wanted to know, like, first of all, it just all seems so unreal.
Right.
But I also was like, what gun did he use? And I'm like, I look under the bed and I find out which one's missing because he's a coroner's case. So they took his body and everything with them, And then after I figure that out, we all go down to the garage where he did it. And they, like the cleanup crews, when they clean up after a suicide, they take everything. They're not just cleaning things. They like took everything down to the like baseboards and studs where anything of him touched but they hadn't taken the huge dumpster that was in the driveway from all the shit that, you know, his body had touched.
Okay.
Which was awful. Like, part of me wanted to climb inside that dumpster and like hold some part of him that, like, just the thought of him being alone when he did this, you know, like,
Right. Or like what was going through his head
yeah,
at that moment.
like, was he crying? Was he like, did he feel loved? Did he really think this was the only way through this? Like, it was so awful. And then there was wadded up papers, and I remember grabbing one to see what it was, and it was like there were different suicide letters that of different ways that he was planning on doing it, you know, like, one, you know, I'm not even going to go to the details of that.
If you it's whatever you feel comfortable with.
um like, one was like, I'm sorry I took my life with like using a hose in a car. And then one was like, I hung myself, and then, but obviously he used a gun. So then we found the real suicide letter, and it was, you know, basically he wanted us siblings to take care of each other, and then he felt really bad for his wife and his kids, and he's like, I know this is the brunt of this is gonna be on you. You guys are gonna feel this forever. And I just remember reading that thinking, like,
Then why?
but if you knew that, then, you
Right.
know, I think people don't realize when they do this. I have a lot of compassion because I don't want people to suffer. But those of us left behind, it's like their pain was just transferred onto
So
us.
you, yeah, it's the truth, and it's never ending. It's not like
No,
you go to therapy and get rid of that. You harbor that for the rest of your life, you know.
yeah. I mean, and when I talk to other survivors of suicide, like siblings or even parents, you know, like when
Mm-hmm.
I talk about it and they're new and fresh, and they ask me, will this ever go away? You know, like this feeling, I say, it never really goes away. It changes, like, over the years. Like, for me, he died 9 years ago. It's like this acquaintance that's always with me,
Right.
that shows up. I know they're going to come again. I don't know when. This sadness, this feeling, they're going to come again. I don't know when, and I'm going to feel it again. Like, but it changes over the years, but you know, you're always with you, like,
Yeah.
on your shoulder, like, it's there.
Like a black cloud almost that like
Yeah.
follows you.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Exactly.
and I remember you saying um when we were speaking before that like you actually never were angry with him and you still aren't.
No, I mean, I hurt for him. I hurt for him. I felt so much pain for him then.
Yeah.
And even to this day, I'm not mad at him. I'm still completely devastated and hurt that he felt so much pain and so much sadness, that that was the only thing that was going to take it away, I guess, you know, like, and I don't think that getting mad at him would like help anything
Right.
or change, you know. And like, those of us who are survivors or know somebody, you know, other people, I've had people be super cruel and be like, that is the most selfish thing a person can do. Your brother's a coward. Oh, and they're fighting words.
People have said that to you?
Oh yeah. I mean, those are like fighting words, but I don't. And I just look at them because I pray to God they never have to go through this
Deal
to
with that.
understand, you know?
I don't, yeah, no, I can't even imagine when I think of like my siblings or just somebody in my life that I know. Like I can't even friggin' imagine that. And to me, like listening to your story is scary because even up to the event of it happening, you still didn't put it like like what am I trying to say? You still didn't think that that's what it was. You thought
No,
if anything it was a car accident or whatever. And like that just goes to show that you think you know somebody and you think you know their intentions and you just genuinely don't, at like even your siblings, you know, the people
yeah.
closest to us. That's scary.
He
That's
literally, my dad saw him like maybe 2 hours before he did it. My dad went over to the house to see him, and he said he acted fine.
Oh wow, like he was just acting like nothing.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Now were your brother and father close?
Yes, very.
So yeah, your father knows, you know what I mean? Your father's going to know. That's
Yeah.
do you think I mean, not to even like try and figure it out. I'm sure you've spent probably years trying to figure out like what the fuck was it? Like, do you think it
Yeah,
was just a spur of the moment thing?
I mean, you're right. I have spent years. That's the other thing. It's like a rabbit hole when you lose someone to suicide. It's like this mystery that you want to solve. Like, aha, I found the reason. And it's
Right.
like you never get the answers with a suicide note, without a suicide note, unless there's like some event that happened for certain people. I think you just don't get the answers, like,
You
and
never.
it's awful. And because you start out wanting the answers because you want to know you could have done something, you could have
Right.
done more, you know? And out 9 years removed, I know, I accept the fact there is nothing I could do. Except for now, when I'm on TikTok and I'm talking about it and
Mm.
I'm saying silence is the killer, I'm saying there's still a stigma, I'm saying there is still people out there suffering who don't have access to health care for mental health. There are
Go
people who
off.
get military and they think it's a shame to freaking ask for help.
Right.
There's so many like different avenues to this that it's so incestuous that you want to help people and you can't, like, even trying to do a TikTok, and it makes me, some days I bawl my eyes out because it's so frustrating to be
Frustrating.
like, I know I'm trying to reach people, and then here's this wall of TikTok being like, you can't say this, you're promoting suicide. What do you
Right.
mean I can't say this? And it's
Right.
that wall that hurts. That could be
Exactly.
somebody.
And I think we have to be able to talk about it in order to get rid of the stigma that it's okay to fucking be depressed. It's okay to have, well, it's not okay to be suicidal or obviously commit suicide, but it's normal to have intrusive thoughts when you're depressed. I know a lot of people who, I mean, myself included, who have had, when you get to a low, sometimes you're like, maybe I'd be better off. You know what I'm saying? And that happens, but we have to be able to speak about it and address it in order to not actually go through with it. I think
Yeah.
you know what I mean. And the fact that even now this is going to go on YouTube, and I'm sure people will watch, but I'm sure there it still won't, it's the message will still be suppressed or repressed, whatever the fucking word is, because it's like looked at as a like a hot topic that we shouldn't be talking about.
But it's the thing too that just is so wild about it is there's like so many things. First of all, we've been saying 22 a day about military for years. So it
Mhm.
concerns me that the number is probably higher than that.
Right.
Second of all, 800,000 people globally are committing suicide, and 79% of them are freaking middle income. So it doesn't have to do with money. It doesn't have to do with what class you're in. It doesn't have to do with, it has to do with the fact that people don't have access. It has to do with the fact that we are our own worst critic. We don't know what's going on in someone's mind, what that critic is saying to that person.
Right.
So like I was saying about TikTok, if I can make someone feel good about themselves, what if you or me are the only people that day that says, hi, just hello, or
Right.
you're people, and I love your energy and I love your spirit and you're a good person. And yeah, it's through a computer screen or it's through texting, but at the same time, it's those little things that you don't know that could save a person's life.
Right. And it means a lot. I'm sure you've gotten messages. I've gotten messages like your goofy ass videos or whatever videos that you post, like, got me through a rough time, especially now with quarantine. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I'm sure rates of suicide and depression are at an all-time high right now, and people don't, like you said, they don't have access to um like therapies or whatever it is, support groups that they
mm-hmm.
can that they can go to, and they feel alone, and they feel like their only way out is to commit suicide or hurt
Yeah,
themselves. We're not taught that there are better ways. We're not taught that there are ways, period. It's like
yeah,
crazy. It really is. It's nuts that this is where. Do you think it's just us in America, or do you think it's, well, you said globally?
yeah. It's globally. But I mean, the isolation that came with COVID, I mean, I know I can tell you at the beginning of the year when it first happened,
Mm.
it felt like a monster in the room. Like I wanted a hug from people so badly. Then finally, like, I'm going to get ridiculed for this. I was like, no, I'm going to hug my friends. I need a hug. I'm one of those people who needs a hug. Like, I love to make people laugh and I love to smile, but every now and then you need someone to like give you a great big hug
Yeah.
and feel like that appreciation. Like last night, I was at a bar and this chick, I don't even know who she is, and I see it's her birthday. So I come over and I'm like, hey, happy birthday, you know? She starts grabbing my arms and just rubbing them. It was super awkward, but at the same time, I'm like, okay. And she's like, I just want some of your energy. And I'm like, okay, well, if you want my energy, there you go.
Take it.
You know, I I try to do what I can for people.
Was that all she wanted from you, or?
I don't know. I didn't give her more time than that.
You didn't give her your energy in a different way, or?
I didn't.
I guess that's a different episode.
Right? But I mean, it's that, like, there are times, like, literally a hug from a person can just, it just fills your, I call it my love tank, fills my love tank back up, especially when I'm on empty and I don't see my family, you know, for a while. Like,
Yeah.
I'm traveling, I'm doing something, or I'm living in another state and I'm away from friends and family. And then you see, you know, when you go see your family again, you're like, oh, you feel loved again. You feel better again. Like,
It
that
fills you
person
up.
from beginning of time, you
Yeah.
know? I
It's
try to do that with people who I don't even know across the world. I'm like, I think I know them, but to the extent that I know them, I try to appreciate who they are right in front of me.
that's how I am. Like, the more hugs, the better. That's where I'm at. People, like, I'm like a hugger too. And
Yeah.
there are people out there who aren't huggers, and you try and go,
Yeah.
and they're like, the fuck are you
Yeah.
doing? But it's the truth. We need that. We're human beings. We need that human connection.
For
And
real.
quarantine, I think, fucked people up, like, a lot. I think
Yeah.
TikTok was a big, even for me, like a big saver of mine. I was like, my anxiety was, I mean, everybody's anxiety was fucking through the roof. And had it not been for TikTok, as weird as it sounds, um, I probably would have, like, went off the deep end, because I was like in my room, like afraid to even leave my room and interact with my mother. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like,
totally. I mean, and working in healthcare and watching people not be able to have their family there with them, that was hard. You know, you want
yeah,
to be there for your patients, but at the same time, like, if they're taking their last breath and you're there, it, like, in the moment you're trying to be that healthcare worker, but you walk outside the hospital and you just like, I can't believe that this is reality.
right.
You
And
know?
you probably, especially you working in the medical field, like, you probably felt it tenfold, because you're dealing with whatever personal stuff, like, in quarantine. I guess you never really had to quarantine because you worked in the medical field, but also watching everybody else go through it, and it's like, like double the fucking stress.
Hard, but I also felt like when I did have conversations with people, whether it's TikTok or friends that I wasn't seeing because they were staying away type thing, I
Mhm.
always felt like it was important to validate their feelings, even if my job is hands on watching this stuff go down and their job may be working from home, you know, behind a computer for a bank or something. I still wanted to validate how people feel during this pandemic, you know?
Did you Okay, so now that brings me to, did you learn that from like, your experiences that you've been through? Like, is that like a skill you've acquired, is like, okay, let me actually listen to people when they're saying how they feel, instead of, making their feel, because I think when it comes to depression and, I guess, suicide, a lot of the times it's like, nobody's listening to me, nobody understands me, nobody understands what I'm going through, so I might as well just not even be here. Like, when I know you went to a bunch of support groups, and you probably
Yeah.
still are, did you
Hmm.
learn that that's like a tool to use with people that are depressed or going through shit, is to actually, like, make their feelings valid?
Um, no, I mean, I've read a lot of self-help books too, though. But
Okay.
even without, like, having the experience of being in different, like going to therapy or groups or working in foundations, I felt like what I wanted the most, I wanted other people to have. I wanted so much to be heard. I wanted someone to listen to me. And I felt like I, even in therapy, sometimes felt like I was just, not being listened to. I was just like, here we go,
Yep.
let me get that down. But I wanted other people to feel what I wanted so badly to feel. And then I felt like once you start listening to people and stop running your mouth, you actually learn a lot from them.
Yes.
But also, I could see the change in their faces when you just stop and listen to people.
Yeah.
And different cultures do that. They don't care about time. They care about, the value of that person in front of you.
Right. What it is you're saying and how
Yeah.
you can then, once you listen to what they're saying, impact how they're feeling,
Yeah.
And I think even like you said, like with therapy, I'm in therapy now. It took me, this is my 4th therapist. Like, it's like car shopping. There are
Yeah.
therapists out there who are like, they just want to tell you how you're feeling and give you medication and send you on
Yeah.
your fucking way.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, they really are a dime a dozen. And I think if our mental health professionals don't even know how to fucking actively listen to us
Mm-hmm.
and literally just shut, like you said, shut the fuck up.
Uh-huh.
It's like we're fucked. We're just, it's like, what do you think we need to do? I don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm blessed because the Burn Foundation hooked me up with a therapist, and then they even like paid for it.
Oh wow.
And my therapist is gay and a burn survivor. It's been like no other therapist I've ever had in my life, and I've had therapists my whole life. But to find someone, and that's another thing when we're talking about mental health, like you get discouraged when you feel like you haven't found that person.
Yep.
And for me, I just have a fighting spirit. Not everybody does
No.
have a fighting spirit. There are people who give up because they're like, I tried. And they honestly did try,
Yeah.
And they just kept hitting this wall. And then this person who you feel like doesn't understand, and I'm supposed to tell you all my darkest secrets.
Right.
And you're sitting there looking at me like I'm crazy, or you don't understand, or, well, why don't you try this instead? And like, bitch, I've tried everything, you know?
No, it's the
They
truth.
work out. Well, if I'm already depressed and I don't have motivation, it's not always that I just can work out, you know?
Right. Right. Like, right. Like, what do you want me to do, bro?
Seriously.
And I think the stigma too, like, we're already a society of people that are too afraid to open up and like are scared to talk about certain things. And then to add the stigma onto therapy,
Yeah.
and then to even, you have to break a wall. You have to at least break that first wall down to even sit in front of a stranger and be like vulnerable like that,
Yeah.
um it's a lot. It's a lot. And then to have a therapist who's a fucking shit stain, it's
Yeah.
it's like, well, what the fuck? Why am I even here? I'm just gonna go drink.
For
Like,
real. And
it's
then that does happen. People end up getting addicted to drugs and alcohol and gambling and food and whatnot, and that rabbit hole happens, and still they're misunderstood, and still like those are still souls we can save, if they
yeah,
just person listen to them, actively listen to them.
right. Even like even down to the homeless people. We look like, a lot of the times you pass somebody on the street that's like homeless, you don't know their story, but we automatically friggin' assume. And like,
Yeah.
we never take the time to just listen to people.
Hmm.
Because I think if we did just listen, we could find some common ground somewhere.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
you hate the fucking Cowboys, cool, me too. Like, that's our common, that's our common
Yeah.
ground. Like, let's build from there. And
Yeah.
I think that alone could save lives, but we're just not doing it. I don't know why. I don't get it.
It's so many things, the roadblocks that don't make sense.
Do
Don't
you
censor us on TikTok.
what?
We're not doing it, and then you promote the wrong video.
Right, like the video that went around, that
Yeah.
I want to, because you and I were fucking pissed about that.
Mm.
um there was a video going around of some guy who did you see the video?
No, but people sent it to me in my inbox, and I'm glad I didn't open it.
Did they send it being dipshits, or they sent it to try and tell you, hey, this video is going around?
I didn't know for sure because I get a lot of messages, and so I try to just read like the content of, say, someone who wants to talk about, they say they need to talk, and I'm like, okay, let's talk about whatever, you know.
Right.
So sometimes if someone sends me a video, I don't always just hit it right away because I'm like, okay, I don't have time right now, you know.
Right. No, I
Same
get it.
scenario, I didn't do it because I didn't know who this person was who sent it to me. First of all,
Okay.
I didn't know who they were. I talk to a lot of different people that follow me regularly, like daily, you know?
Yeah.
And I pretty much recognize who the people are that are like watching my content. So they know I see them. And also I'm about it. Let's do this. Like, you want to duet or whatever kind of thing. So when this person I didn't know was sending me these videos, a couple of them, I was just like, so I didn't open it. Thank God. But then I got messages from people who did, and some of those people have lost people to suicide, and it really fucked them up.
Right.
Like right now, I'm worried about some people. If
Because
I
they
thought, I'd be worried about myself. I
right.
honestly would be like on the phone with my therapist, hey, we got a problem, you know, a
I
big problem.
I can't even, and I don't know if it's still going around. Well, to give some context for anybody who doesn't know, watching, a video was going around on TikTok of a man killing himself in front of his children, I think. Um, and um, somebody, I guess, got a hold of it and thought it would be funny, I think, to like prank people. So they would put, let's say, videos of like cute dogs and cute cats or like animals where you think you're watching a video of like these cute animals, and all of a sudden it cuts to him and you're just watching him kill himself. And like this was going around on TikTok. And for some reason this video wasn't fucking getting taken down. And it was like it was almost as bad as like you couldn't scroll on your For You page. I was just afraid. Were you afraid to like just scroll?
Yeah, I didn't for a few days. I couldn't.
Yeah.
If I that 13 reasons why shook me. If I saw that man do that. And then the thing that really was disturbing and disgusting, people started making memes out of it and making it like it was funny, making light of it. And I'm like, I can't even believe this.
Okay. What do you think of, like, do you think it's the generation that came after us, or the generations after us, that they're just desensitized to this shit? Like I don't understand what this is. I
I
can't
don't I thought about that. I mean, I've thought about it being that, and then I've thought about maybe people's moral compass is just not the same anymore. Um, but it's definitely a desensitized situation. Like, I don't know. Like, honestly, I don't think that, like, if I rack my brain, like, I've never made fun of something so disturbing and so heartbreaking, even if I hadn't lost somebody.
Right. I would never
Like, I
do.
cry in movies where the main characters die, you know? Like,
Right.
how do you
I
just,
cried I cried watching the Goofy movie. That's a fucking
yeah,
cartoon.
right? Toy Story and stuff. I mean,
Right.
but I can't even wrap my mind around it. The
Neither do,
devastation for that man's family, though, and the
because
trauma of seeing that, and then to have it be circulating around is
right.
just,
It's like having to relive it more than once,
yeah,
like reliving the worst tragedy of your life and your family,
yeah.
and then all of a sudden you're scrolling like on an app that's supposed to give you some sort of escape,
Mhm.
and you fucking see the video. You know what I mean? It's like, what are we doing? We gotta fucking do better, like. And then somebody who's, to me, also what I think about is, not only are people desensitized from it and they think it's a fucking joke, but that's going to hit one or two, more than one or two people who are depressed and are like kind of teetering on the edge, and they're going to see that video and it's gonna push them maybe to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like what the fuck are we doing? I don't understand people. I really don't get it. It's scary. That and
The other concerning parts was that it is going to hit those people that are already, like you said, they're already depressed, they're already isolated, they're already in their head. Like I say, like your own personal critic. You don't know what's going on in someone's head, and then you see something that triggers you like that.
Mhm.
So preventable. That
Right.
talk did not even have to get as far as it did. Like, where's the oversight? I worry even about the kids that are on TikToks and they have these fake accounts with their parents' pictures or whatever, or they get to use their parents' account and they're scrolling and they probably saw it.
Right. There was a challenge going around. Not only was the challenge or the prank, a totally different thing, but there was a challenge where older siblings, but like when we say older, not even obviously our age, like older teens, let's say 17, 16-year-old kids were showing their younger siblings, like 12, 13-year-old siblings. And like somebody was reacting to this challenge and they were videotaping their younger siblings' reaction to it, obviously not videotaping the video, and then posting it to TikTok to show, oh, this is my siblings' reaction to watching that video. And somebody commented and did a commentary and was like, a child's brain is not like developed enough to be exposed to that sort of trauma and that sort of thing. That's going to fuck them up and they're not even going to realize in the moment, but seeing something like that's going to fuck a kid up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's I don't even, I don't think I would have ever came across a video like that and been like, "Oh, let me show my let me show my sister." You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Never.
Like
Never. I'd
I,
want to protect them.
right, right.
I don't
Eh,
know. For me, I want to protect my siblings. I want to protect people, even friends. Like, I wouldn't want to be like, let me cause more damage. The
right.
world's to let me cause more damage, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. And it's crazy to me that your videos get shadow banned or whatever it is, they get taken down. The videos that you specifically post raising awareness and trying to talk about it like an adult,
Mm-hmm.
those videos get taken down and then this video circulates and blows up and goes viral.
Yeah. So I've had to like figure out that you have to scramble the word suicide. You have to misspell it in order for it to
Stay.
be, yeah, to stay. And the same thing with PTSD. I can't post post traumatic stress disorder. I can do PTSD, I can do PTSD awareness, but I cannot say post traumatic stress disorder. And if that's changed one time off right now, I'll text you and tell you so. But so far I have not been able to post that entire word with a hashtag.
That's fucking crazy.
Yes.
Is it immediate? Like the minute you post it, it's flagged?
So I can post it and it says it won't say it'll say 0 views or no views after that hashtag,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then if I post that, then I know it's going to get taken down and it will get taken down and it does get taken down.
That's crazy. And you're
Yeah.
and you're posting um uplifting, like you're worthy, you're
Mhm.
beautiful,
Yeah.
you don't need to do this type of
Or
like.
not alone. I try to do that a lot, because I mean, that's a huge one. Like,
Right.
because remember 800 song? Well, when they did that at the VMAs, he had that hoodie on, excuse me, that had the suicide number on it. And on the back, it said, "You are not alone." Well, I couldn't find that sweatshirt anywhere. So I went and had it made because I was like, that's so perfect. You are not alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I try to do that. Like, I try to mix up everything and do duets and uplift people, but also, like, my main platform is I'm trying to reach those people that we can still save so they know they're not alone, you know?
Is that your goal? Like um you want to prevent people obviously from going that down that route, obviously.
Yeah, and it's not even just about me. It's about it makes me sad each time because I'm in suicide support groups and stuff on Facebook.
Mm.
And it makes me sad each time we get a new member, because that means they lost somebody. So there's another family going through pain. There's another mother, there's another father, there's another, whole gamut of people affected by this. So I want to help save people, but I also want to help save families that maybe know that their family member has mental health issues, and they need to have an avenue of like, how can I reach this person?
Yeah.
You know?
And I think it comes, you're definitely more knowledgeable on this topic than I am, but do you think it it comes in like, how do I word this? In like all different shapes and sizes. Like there are people who are blatantly suffering out loud and their families unfortunately are like no, like in denial about it, and then it leads to this person going through with it. And then it's like situations like yours where you don't realize, that they're just acting normal, like their normal self, and you have no idea. Do you think it's kind of a mixed bag?
For sure. I've lost friends that I remember people telling them, like, they always say this. They always are threatening suicide. And then I get the message, yeah, so and so took her life. And I'm like, all those people that said that to her, I wonder if that was something that could have pushed her and kept pushing her, like, fine, I'll do it.
Right.
Like, it's exhausting when you do have people in your life that are have mental health issues, and they threaten it and they say it. But at the same time, I take that shit seriously because of what I went through. I will be the one that calls and like, yeah, I'm not getting through to you. I'm calling for help for you.
Right, you're gonna call the
I'm
police or whoever.
rather you punk me out and be like, I can't believe you did that to me. I can't believe you called the cops. I got on a 5150. I can't believe it. And I'm like, I can believe it,
Right,
because
right.
I'm not letting you go. So you can hate me. That's fine. But
Yeah,
I want to with myself, and I want you in this world. So,
I
you
don't
know,
I, I don't blame you. I'm more that type of friend too. But I can admit also that when people are like, it is tough when you have somebody who's constantly throwing it out there,
mhm,
and it's like they do this every fucking week. They're threatening it, and you're like, nah, they're not gonna do it. But then you're right. There is. I never even thought of it like that. There could always be that one time that they're like, oh, you don't fucking believe me? All right,
yeah,
fuck you. I'm gonna prove you wrong that you think I'm not gonna do it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And my mother used to always say to me, even if they are making a like a false threat about it, by bringing it up, there's something in them that's crying out for some sort of help, like they need somebody. um and my mother always said, like, you have to take that seriously. And I guess I should be more sensitive to that.
well, your mom's right. People always say joke is a reflection of the truth. Like someone will say like a snide remark to you, and like, I'm kidding, but there's a little piece of that has a lot of truth to it.
Right.
So the same way, like, I'm very serious about it because I know the consequences of what can happen. So before he took his life, I probably would have been the one that's, it's going to be okay. Sleep on it. We'll see you in the morning, kind of thing. I don't do that anymore.
You
You
take
tell
it.
me that and you're not going to let me come over and check on you, then I'm for sure calling somebody, because it's not going to be on my watch. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
One time, like you said, that one time could be that one time. You don't get that back. We sit and wonder, like, how people talk about, like, when someone commits suicide, do you think that that last second they were wish they didn't do this, like,
Right.
you know what I mean? What if
Yeah.
that one time, like, I didn't say something because they always say they're gonna do it? Well, I don't want that last second. Do you think they wish they didn't do it? Do you think they wish, like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah. I I saw a video of this guy who um he was he jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge. I'm sure you've seen this guy before. He
I've
jumped
met?
off. Oh, you met him?
Yeah,
Oh my God. And he said it too, that
yeah,
on his way down he regretted it.
yeah, yeah,
That's yeah. So I mean, I think a lot of the times we get to that point, and then when we go to, well, I say we, but like, you know, people get to that point and when they finally, maybe they just pull that trigger, whatever it is, I'm sure there is that sense of like, no, wait, I want to be here. You know what I mean? I
I
can't.
mean, I'll never forget what he said too, because I met him at an emergency conference when I was working in ER and stuff. I met him at an emergency conference. He was the guest speaker, and I'll never forget him saying that he walked up and down the Golden Gate Bridge, and he was crying, and someone stopped him and asked him to take a picture. He's like, all that person would have had to do is be like, "Are you okay?"
Right.
They
Right.
asked him to take a fucking picture. He's crying, a grown man crying.
And nobody asked him if he was okay.
Asked him if he was okay, and he was like, took the picture, and then he jumped.
He jumped right after the picture.
Yeah.
I'm sure had it gone slight, like I'm sure okay, it going the way that it went, where somebody walked up to him and instead of asking him if he was okay, asked him to take a picture. I'm sure that was like for him, like, okay, I need to jump now. That was probably a push for him to
Yeah. Like
do it.
nobody cares.
That's
Nobody, not even a stranger cares.
that's
My
fucked up.
family, my friends can't reach me. Not one person. It's like that TikTok when people are like, if right now, if somebody texts me, I know it's the love of my life. You know that TikTok?
Yeah.
The one I'm about? And I'm like, you know, if I text somebody right now, it might save their life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not love you, but I might just be that person who says, "Hi, I hope you're doing great today," or "I
Yep.
was just thinking of you." You know?
Yeah, and sometimes that's all we need
Mm-hmm.
to figuratively but also literally talk us off the ledge. You know what I mean? Is to just, I think when I was depressed and like feeling my lowest, yeah, that's what saved me, was like the people in my life who made it a point to let me know like, we're fucking here, dude. You know what I mean? And I feel like A, not everybody has that, or B, not everybody realizes that they have that. You know what I mean? And that's very sad.
It's like the people who ask you if you're okay, and then they just keep walking and don't wait for you to answer.
That's how New Yorkers are, just like, hey, how are you? Good.
You know, like even coworkers that do that, and I'm like,
Hello?
yeah.
So you
So
gonna
when
listen?
Yeah, so when I ask someone like at work or whatever, and I say, "How are you doing?" and I stay there and I wait for them to respond, and I can tell by their body language or their tone if they're not okay or not, and they tell me they're okay. I'm like, "Are you really okay? You know,
Right.
are you
Uh,
really okay?"
Are you that type of like, do you, okay.
I'm an empath, 100%.
Okay, same. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's why you and I, like, even from the jump, the conversation, I feel like, is always like, even now, this is the first time we're actually speaking other than through like voice notes, you know? And the conversation's very fluid because I think that like I'm the same way. I feed off of people's energy, I
Yeah.
guess, you know, where people feed off of my energy rather. But were you always like that, or um did losing your brother kind of aid in that?
Um, I think I've always been empathetic, but I think once I was in the burn unit is when it really started, because it's a whole different kind of level of humility when you have to have someone bathe you and wipe you to go to the bathroom. And then it translated into my professional life where I'm like, I want the patient to feel like they're not alone. I don't want them to feel embarrassed. I don't want them to feel like I want to talk to them through it. I want to sing to them. I sing to patients sometimes because my burn tech used to sing to me, and that was one
Oh.
thing that took my mind off of things. I don't have a good voice, but it takes your mind off of things. So I just translated it into my life of what I'd want, you know.
Yeah,
That
you put yourself in other people's shoes.
Yeah, and sometimes people aren't really a big fan of it, but I'm like, okay, it's okay. It's not for everybody.
Whatever floats your boat, like, fine, I'll go sing Bon Jovi to somebody else, like,
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. Totally.
Yeah, I mean, I think that type of situation can definitely, I can't even imagine having somebody wipe my, I feel bad for the person that would have to wipe my ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I get it when you go through that and you have to kind of, you have no other choice but to let go of
Yeah,
your ego. It's
no
like,
choice.
yeah, you're
Make
kind,
it let it make you bitter, but
right. So I
that's
feel like,
less than ideal.
right, somebody wiping your ass is less than
Yeah,
ideal.
it
Yeah.
is, you know?
So how was that? How did that go?
Awful. I hated it. But at some point, I was like, I didn't have a choice. I didn't know when I was going to get to go home. I didn't know when I was going to be able to function on my own, you know?
Yeah.
So, but
I can't even imagine it. Like
I think it's the worst, best thing that ever happened to me because it was awful going through it. But look at me now. Like, I'm able to help others through it. And also, I can be a way better caregiver when I'm at the hospital because I know what it's like.
yeah, I feel like sometimes our worst situations end up being, like you said, like the best, in the sense that they change our perspective, they change who we are, and how we look at things and how
Yeah,
we treat other people because of that.
100%.
And I think that, and like for me at least, and I'll ask you, I would say that to anybody who is depressed right now or watching this or listening to this, who's going through some shit, instead of, taking that if you're thinking of going down that road, instead of taking that path of self-harm or um suicide, just understand, and it's hard to understand when you're in it, but understand that there is an out, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that this darkness will actually help you in the long run once you're out of it, because it'll give you perspective. Would you say that to somebody who's depressed?
For sure. For sure. I would also even go a little bit further and be like, if you have the opportunity to help somebody, do it because it's getting out of yourself. Like you think you're helping, like even when you help somebody else, it helps you right back. That I'm not saying that that's why you should do it, like, oh, because I want something in return. But you are going to grow from that because you might be the one person who can get to the level with somebody that needs somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you can get on the same level with somebody, like when we were talking about therapists, you meet somebody who actually understands you, who's been through something, and you connect. It's so healing, and that
Yeah.
community. And then it's like a tree, like Alice's dating tree, an L word. You connect the dots with this person, and then you're like, oh, I know this person, I can help this person, and then this person's like, oh, you help me, I'll help this person.
Yeah, you and I wouldn't even be sitting here right now if it wasn't for,
Ellie. Yeah.
and I feel like this conversation alone could probably help so many people, you know, realize they're not alone, give them hope that there's other ways to
Yeah.
to cope. Um, and I think, yeah. So you would say to anybody that's depressed or feeling that low, go out. Would you say like volunteer, or like just help a friend? Like what would you say?
Well, right now it's hard to volunteer because of COVID,
True.
but I think that I would say, um, just, you know what, you could do this. You could even be on TikTok and you could just message somebody on one of their videos and be like, I love this video. Just say a compliment to somebody that you want to hear about yourself. And
Right.
it will start a chain reaction,
I feel that. Yeah. It
you
is.
know?
It's contagious.
Yeah.
We gotta make positivity more contagious than fucking COVID. That's what we gotta do.
Yeah. 100% agree with that.
I
Yeah.
yeah. I agree. That's it. I feel like we gotta know that um even though, even at our lowest, we have the power to also change somebody else's life. Um, and in doing that, change our own. And I think that's the best thing that we can do, because again, therapists are a dime a fucking dozen.
And they cost a pretty dime.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, do you want to before I, let you go because I've taken a lot of your time. Do you want to like elaborate on the cost? Because I know you said you've got a lot to say about that. I think like
Oh,
access.
that if you don't have health insurance, then you're having to pay out of pocket, and not everywhere in the entire world has a sliding scale. So even for some people who do have insurance, it could be $20 and that could be the $20 in their gas tank,
Yep.
making that decision, or out of pocket and say $150 an hour, and you need more than once a week. It's hard. It's just, those are the walls. Somehow getting access and making mental health really a priority in America and globally is just, it's so important.
I don't understand how it's 2020 and we're still like talking about this, that it needs to be more prioritized. I like it's fucking mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, I mean, if I had the answers,
Right.
there's the only thing I could think of, like that I can is we do our part and we
Yeah.
talk, and I try to buy people's stuff that says, talks about suicide awareness, and I try to do those out of the darkness walks. And I mean, I mean, the thing is, there's so many people that you're going to run into in your life who don't even know have been affected by this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everybody has.
Yeah.
There's somebody, even if it's twice removed, it's still somebody that you know.
We all do, yeah. And like, look at Robin Williams. He was an escape for people. He was the funny guy that nobody ever, high energy, nobody ever realized or thought that that's something that would happen. So it's
Yeah.
like check on everybody. That's it.
Mhm.
Check on every single one of your friends, whether they're saying they need help or not. Be there, be a friend, be a confidant to somebody. That's the best thing we can do.
Exactly. 100% agree with that.
Awesome. Well, thank you for giving me your friggin' time. How
Well,
long is
thanks for having me.
anytime you want to come back, we'll shoot the shit. I think next time we'll talk about that girl at the bar who felt you up.
All right. See you later.
Keep in touch.
Bye.
Bye.